Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Wallet, an intuitive who uses neuroscience to reprogram your subconscious and trained intuition to get to the root cause of your problems to help you create a life that you don't need a vacation from. You've landed in the place you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about why you keep repeating the same love and money patterns and how to finally break them. This podcast is here to wake you up. It's time to stop living as the watered down version of yourself and step unapologetically into the woman you came here to be. The woman who trusts herself deeply, holds powerful standards, and naturally attracts the love, money, and life she desires. Let's flow. Hello, my love, and welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Wallet. In today's episode, when I'm recording this, I am officially a week out for my wedding. Like, I get married next Saturday, which is so wild. But by the time you're listening to this, I will be just getting back from my honeymoon, which is crazy to say. I will be a whole wife. And as this bridal era ends, I wanted to do a little bit of reflecting, and I thought that it would be fun to do an episode where I just kind of talk about like the era and some things that I've noticed and the woman who I've become in this era. And I thought that it would be just a fun little episode. And so I asked ChatGPT to come up with some questions that it thinks, well, you know, as much as a robot can think, would be good for you guys, for my listeners, that you guys might ask me. And that might help kind of guide the episode. So I've got 10 questions here. I don't know if we'll get through all of them today, but yeah, we're just going to get right into it. So number one is, what version of myself existed at the beginning of this relationship that no longer exists now? And I love this question so much because I was actually just tripping out about how different I feel, like a same, but different I am. And like the version of Mikaela that Bryson met when we first met versus who I am now. And I just feel like that was a lifetime ago, even though it was 3 years ago, but so much has happened and I've grown so much personally and in business. And it's just kind of crazy to look back on. When him and I first started dating, I was living in Costa Mesa. I was very much so like in my single girl era, like not even thinking about a man, like not wanting to entertain a man. Like I had just got done telling my friend who I was with that I was so good at being single that I wanted nothing to do with a man, and that I loved my little house in Costa Mesa, and I was just, you know, thriving, living my life, and didn't really wasn't dating, wasn't trying to date, was really just going to like be celibate and ignore men for a while because I had actually put myself back out on the market and like dated. And then it didn't go. I was like, this is dumb. And so I like stopped. Didn't go the way that I wanted it to, obviously. But it ended up working out in my favor, which of course, obviously. But I was just so like I was just in a different headspace. I was a different version of myself. And then even when Bryson and I did meet, we didn't make it official until I had known him and we had been hanging out for like 3 months. So we met in August, and then we didn't start actually we weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend. I didn't share him social media or anything until November. January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, November. And the reason I did that was just, honestly, I think it was like a protection thing of like putting myself out there and then just getting hurt so many times. Like I just really promised myself that I wasn't going to share my relationship until like I knew that this person was like the one. And so I would have to say that it really did take months for me to know that Bryson was the one because I had to vet him. Like I had to make sure that he wasn't all talk, that he was like really who he says that he was, and making sure that like I always say that like people really start to show you who they actually are after like getting to know them for 3 to 6, anywhere from 3 to 6 months is like that sweet spot where people start showing their true colors. And so once that 3 month mark hit, and I was like, wow, this man like really is who he says that he is, and he is continuing to treat me well and continuing to like still be just as obsessed with me now as he was 3 months ago. Like I remember Zeus had gotten he ate something that he ate like an avocado seed and it got stuck in him and he had to get surgery to get it removed. And it was like a scary time because like I didn't have the money to pay for his surgery and actually set up a GoFundMe to pay for it because it was like a 6,000 or over $6,000 to like do this. And I think I made like the GoFundMe gathered like over 5,000 or maybe even six. I don't know. It might have paid for the whole thing. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But I remember that time and I was so scared and he was so supportive during that time. And that was when I was like, this guy's different. Right. And that's when we went to, how he asked me to be his girlfriend was we went to the beach and we watched the sunset in the back of his truck. And of course, we had Zeus, and we were just watching the sunset in the back of his truck, and we're talking, and he's being all cute, and he looks at me and he goes, so can we finally like make this official? Will you finally be my girlfriend? And I was like, yes. And then that was what happened. And I'm not kidding. Dolphins literally jumped out of the water as I said yes. Like it honestly could have been like in a movie. Like it was like that. It was crazy, but also so special. And the reason I say all of this is because that girl, even then, you know, I had so much healing to do. And as we know, our relationships are our biggest mirrors. And I would say that loving Bryson has really, and dating Bryson and being in a relationship like this, a healthy, strong connection is definitely helped me learn how to put myself first, like even more so than I was when I was single. And because this is why, because in past relationships, I would find myself like basically anything that they wanted to do, I would just drop and I would go and do whatever I wanted or whatever they wanted. And I didn't really do what I wanted to do if it conflicted with what they wanted to do. And I didn't like speak up and say, oh no, like I'd rather do this. Like it was like I was afraid of them abandoning me if I was to take up space, if I was to say how I actually felt, if I was to tell them no, right? And in this relationship with Bryson, I really haven't been that person at all. I have absolutely zero issue with speaking up, telling it how it is, explaining how I feel, telling him what's going on, regardless of anything. Like, I think another thing too has been for sure, like when we first started date or when we like made it, before we made it official, when we were still just seeing each other. And I looked at him and I said, look, I know it might look great from the outside because you don't know what's going on, but like I'm in debt. I have no money. I am an entrepreneur. I don't have a stable, quote unquote, stable income. I don't have a 401k. So if you can't like be okay with that, then this ain't gonna work. You know, like I don't like it's fine. If you don't want to deal with that, then if you don't want to deal with the uncertainty of me being an entrepreneur, then like you can, you know, I get it. It's not for everybody. Kick rocks. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not with you because of how much money you do or don't make. and I'm with you because I love who you are as a person. And I think, I'm gonna get emotional. I think that that was the first time that I had ever been reflected the unconditional love that I worked so hard to give myself in a relationship. Sorry, not sorry. Why am I sorry for my emotions? Don't apologize for your emotions, guys. But that moment also, it was just a bunch of little moments. There was no like, oh, I saw him and I just knew he was the one. Like, no, that's not how it worked. How it worked was it was a bunch of little things that he did, the actions he took, the way he showed up for me, the way he spoke to me, the way he spoke of me. And even still to this day does. Like, I don't remember I think, we went to a wedding a few months ago, and it was for his best friend. Anyways, we met a bunch of really awesome people during that wedding, and they were all asking me what I do, and I was explaining it, and some of them were asking Bryson what I do. And I remember walking into a conversation where Bryson was talking to another guy about what I do, and Bryson was like getting choked up because he was just talking about how proud he is of me, because he's truly seen me work for all day and all night to create the life and the business that I have today. And for him to finally to see me succeed and to be a part of the whole thing has just been really cool. And he's really proud of like the woman that I've become through the journey of it all and the risks that I've always been willing to take because I fully trust myself. And hearing him say all of that and to get emotional at the thought of like being so proud of me and for him to be able to call me his fiance, soon to be wife, was really, really special. And so it's just, I mean, at that point, obviously, a few months ago, I already knew that he was the one, but it's just the fact that he continuously shows support. It wasn't ever this like, oh, I'm just going to do this for now. And I think that in past relationships, actually, I know that in past relationships, what I've experienced is just inconsistency. And obviously, as you know here, I'm the common denominator of the past relationships that I've manifested into my life, along with this one. And the difference between the version of me who was manifesting men into my life who are inconsistent versus the one that I have now is my consistency with what I say I want to create and the love that I give myself and the loyalty that I give myself and the standards that I hold and the boundaries that I set and the consistency that I keep in those standards and in those boundaries. So I would have to say the version of me who exists now versus when Bryson and I first met, even though it was only 3 years ago, is extremely different. Because in order for me to become a 6-figure earner in my business, I had to level the fuck up. I had to stand 10 toes down on my standards and my boundaries more than I ever have. I had to lose friends, relationships. I had to stop drinking as much as I was because I just can't anymore. Like, multiple reasons. You got dark forces in there, so on and so forth. Like, we all know this, but like, also just, I think the drinking thing has been huge. Like, I don't even crave it anymore. I drank obviously on my bachelorette. The last time that I drank before that was, I had a couple drinks actually at the wedding that I went to in Mexico when we were at the all inclusive. And then before was Christmas. Yeah. I didn't drink on New Year's. I don't, unless it's like an event or a special occasion, I don't even like crave it. And I think that also has made me a better entrepreneur. It's made me a better intuitive, because I function better, obviously. And I'm not tired at the end of the weekend. Like I'm actually rejuvenated, but like also that has to do with the way that I have my business set up and structured, right? Like I've also started to structure things in a way that's different. I also have an assistant. I've learned how to delegate and not be like feeling like I'm so in control of everything. And if I don't do it, that it's not going to get done right. And everything needs to be like, no, like in order for me to shine in the things that I'm good at, right? I had to let go of the things that maybe were tedious that I had been doing for a really, 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 really long time for 4 years. The cool thing about building a business and like not having help for a really long time is you learn how to do everything on your own. Therefore, let's say something happened where you didn't have a VA or like the VA, you had a couple of weeks in your business where like maybe you had like a gap between people who were working in your business. Let's say somebody quit for some reason. I don't know, never happened, but hopefully that will never happen. But if it did, like I would be able to take the reins. Like, let's say I wanted to give my VA a month off or whatever, if she asked for it, I would be able to do that because I would be able to take over because I know how to do everything that she does. And I think that's like a good thing. I think it's important for you to be able to create a website or a link or send emails and create an email list and all of the things that I've delegated to create things on Canva, all of the things that I've delegated to my VA, like I know how to do. And I think that that's important as an entrepreneur and business owner as well. But the version of me at the beginning of this relationship didn't have that delegating thing. She didn't know how to do that yet. And so being able to step into the person who I am now who knows how to delegate is good and is also helping my success because I'm not spending energy doing things that don't light me up, right? If you've ever thought, why do I make money but it never stays? Or why does it feel like I'm doing everything right but my income just doesn't grow? This is for you because the truth is it's not your strategy, it's your identity. Money doesn't respond to how hard you work. It responds to who you believe you are and how safe your body feels holding it. And most women, they're trying to build wealth on a foundation that literally cannot hold it. That's why you have good months followed by pullbacks, income ceilings you can't break, or money that comes in and disappears just as fast. Inside Mrs. Wallet's money method, we fix that. This is an 8-week identity and energetic recalibration where you learn how to rebuild your money identity and regulate your nervous system around receiving more and actually become the version of you who holds more money consistently. By week 3, the women inside are already seeing shifts. One of my students manifested a raise. Another had a random $6,000 deposited into her account. Not because they worked harder, not because they hustled more, but because they shifted the identity their money was responding to. This is what happens when you stop chasing money and start becoming the woman it stays with. So if you're done guessing and done repeating the same patterns and you're ready to actually understand what your money is trying to show you, Mrs. Wallet's money method is for you. Check out the show notes below and start binging today. Number 2. Definitely not getting through all 10. We're 20 minutes in. How has loving Bryson changed me as a woman? I mean, I kind of answered that in the first one of being able to, like, the number one tool, you guys, the number one fucking tool that I use in my relationship is the universal law of reflections. Like, that tool is a big part, I should say, of the reason that I am in a really healthy relationship and that Bryson and I have the kind of communication that we have. Okay. he is so good at communicating with me and vice versa. We have such a healthy dynamic when it comes to like conflict. When we do have conflict, which we don't really ever get into fights, we get into we bicker, but it's never anything like detrimental to our relationship. And even if it was, like, we would navigate it really well because we've literally talked to one another, like, how would we navigate, bigger conflict? And that's something that we've communicated with one another of how we would do that. Or like we'll play out scenarios like what would you do? How would you handle this if this happened? And we've also talked about like kids, our future children, and like how would you parent, and what would you do if they did this or that, and how would you react, and how would you include me, and how are we going to discipline, and so on and so forth. Like these are all things that we've talked about. And I think that the universal law of reflections comes into play here because obviously, like, he is in any time that he is not doing something that I want him to do. I know, okay, and like I'm getting triggered by it, or anytime he triggers me because he says something or whatever, I'm like, okay, immediately looking in on my creator field, asking myself, like, what's creating this situation and what do I need to do to shift it so that it's not happening anymore? And that's not something that I used to do. Like, I used to just get mad and then sit in my anger and frustration and not voice. Because remember, I didn't like take up space and I didn't want to piss anybody off, and I didn't want to I was afraid that like they would leave if like I disagreed, and that's just not who I am anymore, at all. So loving him has changed me in that aspect of like knowing that no matter what, no matter fucking what, and there has never once since the day I met that man, there has never once been a thought that crossed my mind that made me think, oh, maybe he's just not that into me, or maybe he's not that into me. Like, absolutely not. I have known this man has been obsessed with me in a healthy way. I have known that he will always communicate with me if something's up. I've known that he's loyal. I've known that he's always going to be there for me. Like, there's no question about it. And that's just not something that I have ever had before. But like I said, it's a reflection of the work that I've done on myself. So the universal law of reflections has definitely helped me kind of take radical responsibility for what I'm creating in my relationship and how I can shift it, therefore shifting him and creating a different situation in my life, which is just not something that I've ever had. I didn't have that tool in past relationships. Therefore, I would just sit and be angry, and I wouldn't look at, okay, what's, what part am I playing? How can I handle this better or differently? What are the emotions that I need to let go of, instead of like shrinking and just holding everything in and sweeping under the rug and pretending like it's not happening? Yeah, that just doesn't happen anymore. So that's also changed me. I've also been able to just like, I don't know what it is, you guys. If you're in a healthy relationship and you are not like questioning at all, like whether or not this person is for you, and if they think the same or feel the same about you, like, if there's something that shifts in you, like you are truly able, like I feel like I'm able to fully be myself no matter what, and he's still going to love me and be there for me at the end of the day. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only person who has loved me like that is my mom and my grandma. Okay? Like, not to compare the loves, but obviously it's different a little bit with Bryson, but but it's really special. It's really special, and I think that everybody deserves to feel a love like that. Number 3, what old versions of me would not have been capable of this kind of relationship? Literally every single one up until the time that I met Bryson. Like the version of me, high school version of me who just wanted attention. She just wanted attention. She was willing to do whatever she needed to do to get it, including tattoo her whole body. And that honestly, that version of me transgressed into my 20s, my early 20s, continuing with the tattoos, continuing with needing validation and attention from anyone that she could get it from, uh, not having any boundaries, not knowing who she was, um, kind of starting to figure out in her mid to late 20s, definitely. And then 31, I should actually say. 30, I met Bryson when I was 31. 31? No, 30, like, but the end of 30. So, yeah, I mean, that was just who I was. That was just like the version of me who believed that all men are trash and that all the good ones were taken. That one wouldn't be capable of this kind of relationship. You can't manifest a relationship that you actually are wanting to be in if you think that all of the men out there are trash or they're all cheaters or they're all um they all only want one thing. That was something that was ingrained into my brain. My dad used to say, men, he's just trying to protect me, but like men only want one thing. You can't trust them. Okay, so guess what? I didn't. And I didn't even trust my dad. Still don't. Anyways, next one. Number 4. Why does it feel emotional to let this chapter go? This chapter of being a bride, of being a fiance, has been so special. And I am kind of sad to let my fiance era go, if I'm being completely honest, because it has been so special. Like the bridal shower, the bachelorette, like those two things, I'm sure the rehearsal dinner, obviously the wedding, like are going to be so incredible and like such an incredible era. It's just such a fun era and it goes by so fast. And if you're not present in that and soaking it up, even if it is stressful here and there, because it is a little overwhelming, it can get to be a lot, it's still a really special and exciting time, especially to have something that you're like really looking forward to and everybody knows about it and everybody's excited and everybody's asking you questions, which if I'm being honest, I am kind of excited to like for people to stop asking me, oh my God, how is the planning going? And how are you ready? Like I am kind of tired of getting asked that question. So I'm excited for that to be over. But, I will say that this has just been such a special time in my life and like saying goodbye to it and like stepping into being a wife. Like, I mean, some of you might know this, but I was married when I was 23 for 3 whole months. And then he cheated on me with his ex-girlfriend. And the minute our divorce was finalized, he married her. So there was that. And that was obviously like a blip in time. It was 3 months and I was a wife, but like it was at the courthouse. My mom was the only one there. There was none of there was none of this big stuff, right? There was no bachelorette. There was no bridal shower. There was no anything. I had graduated with my associate's degree for college. And so my mom threw me a graduation party that also doubled as kind of like she's moving to Texas because he was in the army. So, here's her goodbye / you got married / you graduated party. And yeah, that was it, which I was obviously so grateful for and loved. But like, it just wasn't the same. I was fucking 23 years old. Like, I was so young. I had so much to learn. I was such a different person. Oh, God. I was so like a hopeless romantic who just thought that she knew everything. And she really thought I was doing it right. I graduated college. I got married. I'm with, I'm a wife now. I'm gonna move and I'm gonna be the best wife ever. And I really thought that I was, but apparently I wasn't, right? No, I was. He was just a piece of shit. Anyways, I digress. The reason I bring that up is because I'm just like tripping out on that person and that version of me compared to who I am now and stepping into being a wife. And I feel like this is so much more real. The difference between that time and this time is just so different because I, I know myself, I know who I am. But I think number two is definitely, this is so real. Like it was real then, but like, no, like I was young. It was quick. I was so unhappy when I was there. And it's just the complete opposite now. Like I know who I am. I love what I do for work. I love my fiance. I'm happy. I'm like genuinely happy. And it's just, I feel so supported. And it's just different. It's just different. So letting go of this bridal era and stepping into being a wife is wild. And I'm excited. I'm just excited and I'm ready, but also I'm like sad. I'm sad to not be a bride anymore. I'm gonna be a whole ass wife. And then I'll be a whole ass mom, which is also insane to think about. I'm gonna be a mommy. Okay. Number 5. Let's just do one more because we're already getting long here. All right, the last question that I have for you guys, or well, that ChatGPT has for you guys, is who did I have to become in order to not just attract healthy love, but sustain it? And I love this question because the difference between not just attracting it, but like also sustaining it is the consistency piece that I was talking about in the beginning of like doing what you say that you're going to do and holding the boundaries and the standards and knowing who you are. Like that's the difference. And also like honoring, like emotional mastery is huge, like honoring your emotions, looking in on the reflections, taking radical responsibility. And it's a choice too. I mean, I've gotten so lucky to be in a relationship where we are not like I mentioned, like we don't fight that often like we don't ever fight. Like I've never actually gotten into a fight with him. We've just bickered, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I feel like it's good. But it's just because of the communication and in order for me to like sustain healthy love, I had to become somebody who took radical responsibility. I had to become somebody who trusted herself. I had to become somebody who put herself first. I had to become somebody who trusted my man. I had to become somebody who trusted that no matter what, I'm going to figure it out, that we are going to figure it out together. Right. But like it all started with me. Like in order to sustain this love, like I had to get my own shit together. I had to become my own dream person. That's something I always preach is like you have to become your own dream person before you attract your dream person. Because that's not fucking fair for you to go out into the world and start dating when you still have so much shit on the internal that you need to fix. And I'm not saying that you need to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that whatever it is that you know that you need to heal, that you maybe have been avoiding, like if you're out there dating and you're not like in a good place mentally, energetically, then you got to fix and heal and shift that before you step into this era of like, oh, I'm expecting X, Y, and Z from a man. Okay, well, do you give that to yourself? Because if not, what are you doing? How is that fair? I don't know. That's just my own POV. But in order to sustain the love that I have with Bryson, it takes teamwork. It takes taking radical responsibility. It takes being able to apologize. It takes being able to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what part am I playing in this? How can I shift the emotion around this? What am I actually mad about? Is it even this, or is it a completely different area of life? Right? All right, guys. I also had this random question from one of you guys, and one of you asked me, what is like Bryson, since we're on the topic of Bryson, like what is Bryson's take on what I do for work? Like, does he believe in it? Does he believe in dark forces and intuition and in all of the woo-woo things? And yes. The answer is yes, he does. He believes in everything that I talk about. I mean, especially because I'm such a testament to the work that I do. And he has watched me use the tools day in and day out. He knows every morning I do my ingredients and the energy work and that I meditate. Like, he watched it, the burning of the letters. Like, he's watched it over the last 3 years of our relationship, and so on and so forth, for forever moving forward. He knows that this work works because I work it, and he's seen me do it, and he's seen my success with it. And so fuck yeah, he believes in it. and at first it wasn't always like this. I mean, he definitely like didn't fully comprehend what I did, and it's definitely taken time to like get him to learn what he has learned so far. He doesn't, I love that he's like not really into it. He's not super spiritual. He's not, he's just not as into it as I am. And I think that that's good because it kind of grounds me, and it kind of allows me to, I've got you guys here and then I've got him there. And it's just kind of two separate things, and I'm okay with that. And you could be okay with that too. It's up to you. It doesn't need to be like 24/7 on. You're allowed to be human too. So he kind of brings out the human in me, and also while still being open to the way that I think and what I believe to be true. And I think one of my favorite moments was he coaches baseball, as you may know, and he'll listen to me, talking and to whoever about, and also follow me obviously on Instagram and like listening to my stuff. So like he'll hear things that I say. And also when I'm like kind of helping him, if he asks me for my help, there are some things that I help him with, but he takes that and he puts it in his brain, and then he implements it in his coaching. And that's like, just, it's so awesome to see, and to know that he's listening, and to know that he's about it, and he believes in it, and he's here and he's with it. But yeah, that's his take. That's his take on it for sure. Okay. I love you guys. Let me know if you like this episode. These episodes that I've been batching are really just like, it's like I'm sitting on the couch with you. And I kind of been loving it. Let me know if you've been loving it too, if you want more of these styled episodes, or if you like the more like structured episodes. Let me know. Okay. I love you. I appreciate you so much for being here. And as always, we will chat soon. Bye. If you love this episode, make sure you follow Intuitive Flow so you don't miss the next conversation. And if you're loving the show, leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps more women find this podcast and finally break the cycles they've been feeling stuck in. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela Wallet _. And if you're ready to go deeper into rebuilding your self-trust, raising your standards, and cleaning up your energetic hygiene, check the show notes for ways to work with me below. And remember, the life you want is not out of reach. You just need to become the woman who can hold it. Until next time, keep flowing.